Hello, everyone. So we are going to continue our lecture on fonts. So I opened the module, and everything I'm saying here, you can actually see it from your module. You can actually follow, and if you just read your module, actually there is a little need for me also to be lecturing because everything is already clarified in your module. So I encourage you, read a module that I uploaded in our group chat and just follow the instructions. They are very simple. Even the way it is written is very simple and very easy for you to follow. So I open here the module. I share my screen. So this is where I left off last time. The video was cut before I could fully discuss this part. So this is a comparison between a serif, katong na ay buhok-buhok, okay, na ay siwil-siwil na font, and the sans serif fonts. Those fonts or that category of fonts that do not have a serif or wala sila that hair-like structure, that hairs that are at the edges of the fonts, they do not have that. They do not have those serifs. Mao na nga gitawag siya nga sans serif or without serif. So I want you to look at this comparison. On the left, you can see the serif fonts. And on the right, you can see the sans serif fonts or the fonts with no serif, the fonts with no tail. So which is clearer? Which is more readable? Maybe right now it's hard to really see the difference between the two because we are using here, for one, we are using a laptop, we are using a screen that is very clear. But things can change when you put it on a slide. And then when that PowerPoint slide is projected via a projector, things can actually change and the visibility can actually be different this time. If your font is serif and also if your font is sans serif. To show you what I mean, let's look at this second comparison. Okay, for this second comparison, there's now a slide using a serif font. The slide at the left is now using a serif font. There's now a PowerPoint presentation, two PowerPoint presentations using the same content. So same PowerPoint presentation, parehas ra og content, ang font style ra ang naglahi. Same PowerPoint presentation, the content is the same, and the only thing that is different here is the font style because one presentation is using a serif font and one PowerPoint presentation, the other PowerPoint presentation is using a sans serif font. So which of the two styles are is clearer? Which of the two slides is more readable? Kini bang slide at the left na nagamit og serif font or kining slide at the right na nagamit og sans serif font without serif, no tail, no hair, oh, sans serif, no serif. So you can see that between the two slides, the one that is more readable is the sans serif font, is the slide using a sans serif font. That is the reason why for our output, for your output, you are required to use a sans serif font. So if you make your output using a font na dili sans serif, akong gibalik sa inyo, I will not record your scores yet. I will just ask you to revise and improve the presentation. So this ends our presentation, our short lecture on the differences between the serif font, katong daghan og hair, daghan og tails, na ikog-ikog, buhok-buhok, and the other category, which is the sans serif or the font with no serif. So having said that, I would also like to remind you that the recommended font size, and you can also see this in our module, is 32 points. So before you submit your presentation, check whether, okay, let's check this one. Let's check the font size here. Okay, very good. The font size here is 32 points. This is the ideal font size for the content in order to maintain readability and also to maintain white space, breathing space. There is visual breathing space for your eyes. The breathing here is not the breathing of physical, like in how it's allowing your eyes to breathe visually, allowing for plenty of space. Okay, the breathing here, the white space mo gudang pasabot ana to provide enough white space, sufficient white space or blank spaces in your presentation. Now imagine if your presentation is very clustered, very cluttered. Let's say we will reduce the font size and turn it into 27. Okay, and then we will add another content here. We will also add this down here. There is reduced space. Visually, dili na siya kaayo nindot og breathing space. Wala siya kay breathing space. It is rather clustered. And this is not the way to present a PowerPoint. So if you present it like this, I will not give you a score yet. I will return it to you for you to revise, because in the PowerPoint you submit, you have to ensure that number one, let your ideas be presented in bullet form, like this one, bullet form. And second, the idea should be presented maintaining the ideal font size of, this is 27. The font size is currently 27. We're going to increase it to 32. Now it is now very readable, and there's plenty of breathing space at the same time for your eyes. So just quick reminders before you submit your output. Now, the last reminder that I want to give you is to ensure that your tables and your figures are clear. I'll show you some example like this one. This is a submission by a student from the previous semester. This one is very clear. The figure here is clear. If this was to be presented on a PowerPoint presentation, I mean, if this was to be presented before an audience of, say, 20 to 30 people, those people will have no problem understanding the meaning or the trend behind this graph. In the same manner, if you present a table, okay, example this one, also make sure that the table is clear. Now, in this table, it is the contents are detailed. So in an ideal presentation, when you present something detailed, the ideal thing to do is to provide your audience a handout. So when you present something detailed like this one, you can say to your audience na, okay, you provide a small explanation, you explain mo usay na sa table, and then you tell your audience, kindly refer to your handout for this table, okay? This table can also be found in the handout that is being provided to you. Because when a person is looking at this table, let's say 10 feet away, 15 feet away, it will not be as visible anymore as the way we see this table right now from our laptops or from our cell phones. So in an ideal presentation, when you are presenting before people, you have to provide them some handouts when you are presenting detailed information. Okay, let's look for some other examples. Okay, this is a good figure because it's clear. So let's look for something else. Also this is also clear. So just ensure the clarity of your tables and figures when you copy them from your selected article to your PowerPoint presentation. So in closing, as we end this lecture on how to present a scientific article on PowerPoint, be guided by these reminders. So check your work against this checklist. Okay, use this checklist to evaluate your own work. So the first point here, the first bullet point, am I presenting my content in bullet form or in PowerPoint? So itong mga bullet points na inyo nang gihimo sa inyong PowerPoint presentation, kada bullet should represent an one important idea. Munang gitawag siya nga PowerPoint. One point, just one point, just one important point. So that bullet that you use in your PowerPoint presentation that is supposed to represent one important idea or one important information there in that article or in that research study you are presenting. So mo na siya nga gitawag nga PowerPoint because it is an important point. So check whether you are presenting your information in bullet form and then check whether there is high contrast. Check whether there is high contrast in your presentation. If you're using a dark background, what should your font color be? And then the third bullet point, are you using a sans serif font? Check your font style. Does it fall within the sans serif category? The usual fonts used in PowerPoint presentation are Arial, Sego UI, Calibri. So those are all sans serif fonts. And then the next thing you have to check, am I using the recommended font size? Are you using the font size of 32? Or if it is not, if you're using the font size of 28, kindly increase the font size to 32 because we want our presentation to be readable for our audience. In an ideal setting, kanang face-to-face setting bitaw nga mag-present a PowerPoint presentation, face-to-face. We are now back to face-to-face classes when you present your research results later, when you present the results of your thesis, or when you defend your thesis. Usually there will be maybe 15 people in the room. There's your panel. There are uh, the other participants